There's something stirring around your child right now, something that cannot be explained with logic, something that whispers through dreams and flickers in the air when no one is looking, and Archangel Michael is standing at the gates of the invisible realm, urgently trying to get this message to you before time tightens its grip. Your child was not born ordinary. Heaven placed a seal upon their soul, a sacred symbol of divine inheritance that has remained dormant only because this world has forgotten how to recognize spiritual greatness when it arrives wrapped in innocence. From a moment of their birth, signs have been presenting themselves. Dreams that seemed too vivid to be coincidence, emotions that overwhelmed their tiny body without reason, a fear of the dark that wasn't just about shadows, but about energies they couldn't name, and a sensitivity to others' pain as if they were living it themselves. These weren't quirks, they were cries of awakening. You may have noticed how animals are drawn to them, how strangers pause to stare at their eyes without understanding why, how they sometimes speak truths no child could know or predict events before they happen. These are the hallmarks of a soul with a gift meant to heal, meant to see, meant to intervene in the balance of spiritual forces on earth. And yet, the gift remains partially locked, surrounded by the noise and distractions of a world designed to suppress such awakenings. That is why you're being called now. Not tomorrow, not someday now. Archangel Michael has deployed warriors of light to surround your home, to guard your child's dreams, to shield them from curses sent by unseen mouths who envy what they cannot understand. There are forces that wish to dim this light before it fully ignites, jealous spirits, ancestral attachments, and generational patterns that know their time is running out. Your child's destiny threatens them, and heaven is moving quickly to counteract every shadow they've sent. This message didn't reach you by mistake. It was orchestrated through divine timing, because you needed to awaken to the truth that you are the chosen guardian of someone who has walked with angels in past lifetimes. Your role is not just to feed, clothe, and protect them. It is to prepare the way for the unlocking of what's been hidden deep inside their soul. There is a specific moment approaching, marked already in heaven's calendar, where a shift will occur in their energy, a moment where an encounter, a dream, or a divine sign will trigger something profound within them. But for that shift to take root, the environment must be sanctified. Your home must become a sanctuary of peace, your words a mirror of truth, and your presence a shield of unwavering love. The angels are asking you to watch your child differently from now on, not just with your physical eyes, but with your spiritual perception. Listen to what they don't say. Pay attention to the drawings they create, the questions they ask, the names they mention without explanation, the invisible friends they describe with astonishing detail. These are not random. They are fragments of memory bleeding through from realms they have visited in dreams, realms they were meant to return from carrying healing, visions, and protection for others. Your child is not here to conform. They are here to awaken others. Archangel Michael says there's a key in your words, a frequency that only a parent with open spiritual ears can speak, and once that frequency reaches their heart, the door will begin to unlock. But if ignored, the child may begin to doubt their power, suppress their gift, or worse, open up to the wrong energies who promise understanding but bring manipulation. The urgency in heaven now is to guide you into a posture of readiness. You're being asked to cleanse the environment, physically and spiritually. Remove anything that carries negative energy, stop speaking words of limitation around them, and begin to declare out loud who they truly are, even if they don't fully understand it yet. Heaven hears every word, and those words build a path between dimensions. Archangel Michael is not simply visiting, he is assigning. A host of angels is preparing to work through your child. But if the vessel is left ignored, their light may dim before it ever rises. Don't let the world convince you your child is too sensitive, too emotional, too distracted. These are human labels that diminish a divine process. They are not flawed. They are calibrated to a different rhythm, one heaven designed, and the enemy fears. What has looked like struggle has actually been spiritual resistance to conditioning. What looked like disobedience has actually been a rejection of energies that are out of alignment with their soul. They cannot, and must not, be shaped into the mold of a world that was not built to recognize prophets, seers, or healers. Archangel Michael says your child carries a heavenly code in their very being, and the activation has already begun, even if you haven't noticed the signs. The time is now to lean in. This is your confirmation, and if you stay with this message until the very end, a divine unlocking will be set into motion that will ripple not just through your child's life, but through generations to come. You must understand that this moment was foretold long before your child entered your arms, long before their first cry pierced the silence, long before they ever took a step on this earth. In the heavens, before time even took shape, a covenant was made between your child's soul and the divine. A promise that when the veil of forgetfulness fell upon them at birth, a divine reminder would arrive through signs, synchronicities, and messages like this one, delivered by Archangel Michael himself. That time has arrived now, and what you choose to do with this message will determine how swiftly their gift unfolds or how deeply it remains buried under the weight of earthly distraction. There are children born into this world with quiet destinies, lives lived gently along the shorelines of history. But your child was sent to dive into the deep waters, to stir the currents, to shift atmospheres, to carry ancient wisdom into a world that has forgotten the language of light. They're what the old prophets once called bridgers of realms. And while that may sound poetic, it carries with it a sacred burden. Their emotions will often feel overwhelming because they're not just feeling their own pain, they're absorbing the spiritual unrest of those around them. When they cry suddenly, when they withdraw without cause, when they seem lost in thought while staring into nothing, it's not disobedience, it's spiritual overwhelm. You must begin to decode their behaviors through the lens of divinity, not discipline. Heaven is asking you to become their translator, their spiritual advocate, the one who helps them interpret what the world calls too much as exactly enough for what they are meant to carry. And this next part is crucial. If you do not begin to speak life over them, daily, repetitively, and boldly, others will speak confusion into them, and those words will begin to weigh like invisible chains on their spirit. The wrong teacher, the wrong peer, the wrong diagnosis could twist the shape of their path, making them question everything they once felt so naturally connected to. You are the guardian, chosen not just by blood, but by spirit, and that responsibility comes with divine assistance. Archangel Michael has already stationed protective spirits around their sleeping hours. The dreams they are having now are not ordinary dreams. They're training grounds. They're being taught in the spirit while their physical body rests. There are nights when they wake up restless, nights when they speak in fragmented whispers or describe flying, falling, seeing colors or people they've never met. That is the realm of spirit training them in their sleep. Encourage them to talk about it. Do not dismiss it. The more you listen, the more heaven will pour through them. And now, listen closely because this is where the mystery deepens. Somewhere in your bloodline, generations back, this gift was present, but it was silenced. Someone, perhaps a great-grandparent, perhaps further back, held this same fire and was forced to hide it, ridiculed for it, punished, or feared for it. That suppression became a curse that tried to snuff out the fire in every descendant after. Your child is the one heaven has sent to break that chain. But to break it, they must embrace what others try to bury. And you, beloved parent, are the one with the power to ignite that recognition. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present, discerning, and deeply spiritually aware. Even now, as you hear this, something is happening in the spirit realm. A stirring, a realignment, a gathering of angelic messengers preparing the next steps for your child's awakening. You may begin to notice physical signs, lights flickering electronics glitching when they're near, certain songs repeating out of nowhere, feathers appearing in strange places, repeating numbers, or sudden waves of emotion that come out of nowhere. These are not accidents. This is the realm of spirit surrounding your home, trying to create an atmosphere where their gift can thrive. But remember, darkness always tries to intrude where light begins to break through. That is why some of the battles in your home have intensified lately. Arguments, emotional tension, random fear. These are symptoms of spiritual warfare attempting to block what is being unlocked. You must stay alert, protect your own energy, and keep your child immersed in truth, in love, in prayer, and in sound. Music has a powerful effect on gifted children. Certain frequencies, certain worship songs, even tones from nature like rainfall or ocean waves will calm their spirit and align their energy to receive heaven's messages more clearly. And now, I must tell you something you were never meant to forget, even though the world tried to make you forget it. You, too, have a dormant gift. Yes, you. You were chosen not just to raise the child, but to awaken alongside them. Their unlocking is also yours. The more you lean into their calling, the more your own spiritual gifts will rise. This is not just about them. It is about your soul family's reactivation. Heaven has plans for your entire lineage. But it begins here. It begins now. And it begins with one bold step of faith. Choosing to believe this is real. Choosing to speak it daily. Choosing to see them not just as your child, but as a vessel for God's miracles. And choosing to say out loud to heaven, I am ready. I will protect their light. I will awaken with them. Because the angels are listening. And they have been waiting for that declaration for lifetimes. There is something heaven is urging you to understand before it's too late, something so delicate and sacred that even the angels whisper it only in moments of stillness. Your child's gift is not just a talent or a special ability. It is a divine calling wrapped in fragile skin, one that must be nurtured with care, reverence, and constant spiritual protection. From the very beginning, your child was marked not by fate, but by covenant, sealed in light, set apart for something this world cannot fully comprehend. You may have noticed moments, even before they could speak, when their eyes locked onto corners of the room where nothing visible stood, when they smiled at invisible presences, when their cries were sudden and unexplained. Those were spiritual encounters, evidence that the veil between realms is thinner for them than for most. While other children dream of cartoons and playgrounds, your child dreams in symbols, visions, colors that don't yet exist in our language, faces they've never met but somehow remember, landscapes that resemble heaven more than earth. Their soul remembers where they came from, and though their body may be small, their spirit is ancient, forged in the presence of the Almighty before they were ever conceived. And now Archangel Michael has stepped forward because the time has come to prepare the environment for this gift to be activated more fully. What does that mean for you? It means certain influences in your home must be removed. Energies, sounds, screens, even certain people who drain the atmosphere with negativity or disbelief. These children are like mirrors, absorbing everything without filters. And when the environment becomes spiritually heavy, they become restless, aggressive, anxious, or withdrawn. Not because something is wrong with them, but because something is wrong in the atmosphere. Your home must become a sanctuary, not just a shelter. You may need to change the music that plays, the shows that run in the background, the conversations that echo through the walls. Heaven is watching. Every seed you plant in your child now will grow into spiritual fruit or thorns in the years ahead. Speak over them when they sleep. Speak over them when they doubt. Lay your hands on their back when they cry and declare out loud, even if your voice shakes, that no weapon formed against their destiny will prosper. Because the enemy knows what they carry, and if he cannot touch them directly, he will try to wear you down instead, through exhaustion, distraction, fear, or shame. That's why this message has reached you now, in this very moment, because Archangel Michael is not just protecting your child, he is strengthening you. You felt weak lately, haven't you? As if something heavy has settled in your chest, like a battle is being fought that you can't see, but you feel in your bones. That's because your child's spirit has begun to activate more quickly, and the closer they move toward their calling, the louder the spiritual noise becomes around you. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't a threat. Your child is a threat to generational curses, a threat to spiritual blindness, a threat to every darkness that has tried to creep its way through your family line. And because of that, heaven is assigning more angels right now. Even as you read these words, spiritual reinforcements are being released into your home. You may begin to notice sudden changes, a warmth in the room for no reason, a moment where time feels like it pauses, an overwhelming peace that falls over you in the middle of chaos. These are confirmations that heaven is at work. But even still, you must act. There is a prophetic gift in your child that is beginning to stir. They may start to say things that sound too wise for their age. They may tell you what's about to happen before it does. They may feel emotions that belong to people they haven't even met yet. This is not imagination. This is spiritual inheritance. And while the world will try to name it, medicate it, mislabel it, heaven has already called it holy. Protect it, trust it, follow it. There may even come a day soon when your child says something so specific, so supernatural, so impossibly accurate that it scares you a little. Do not run from it. Do not silence it. Do not doubt what God is doing through them. Archangel Michael has fought battles you cannot see just to get them to this moment. He has shielded their mind from attacks meant to derail them. He has intervened in moments you thought were accidents. He has whispered strength into your spirit when you almost gave up. And now, with heaven watching, he is asking you to respond. Not with fear, not with worry, but with courage, with declaration, with action. There is something hidden in your family line, an anointing that has skipped generations because no one was ready. But your child is ready. You are ready. And the activation of this gift will not only bless your child, it will unlock doors for others connected to you who have been spiritually asleep. When this gift is fully awakened, your child will speak life into people who are on the brink of giving up. They will see what others miss. They will carry compassion that melts bitterness. They will lay their hands on people and healing will follow. They are not ordinary. They never were. And now that you know the truth, heaven is asking you to rise with them, to be the shield, the guide, the voice of affirmation that clears the path before them. This is not the end of the message. What is coming next is even more urgent, more sacred, more personal. And you must not miss what Archangel Michael is about to reveal. There is something sacred being written in the spirit realm right now with your child's name inscribed in it. And heaven is no longer whispering. It is roaring with urgency because time is shifting and your role as the spiritual guardian of your child is no longer passive. It is prophetic. Archangel Michael is not just visiting your home to observe. He is stationed there, sword drawn, wings extended, eyes ablaze with divine assignment. And he is calling you to recognize that your child is not simply gifted. They are chosen for a generation that is losing its spiritual sensitivity, a generation being numbed by distraction and deception. And your child's light is one of the last candles heaven is trusting to burn purely through the storm that is coming. You must understand that unlocking this gift isn't just about allowing them to express themselves. It's about training their spirit like a warrior, about helping them hear heaven clearly, about protecting their purity from the pollutants that would try to twist their calling into confusion. There are forces that have already tried to visit them in dreams, send fear into their sleep, silence their voice through intimidation or shame. But heaven intercepted those attempts because Archangel Michael was placed on assignment before your child ever spoke their first word. He stood beside the birthing room. He walked the halls when they were sick. He wrapped his wings around them when no one else noticed their tears. He was the invisible comfort during their restless nights and the force that stopped worse things from touching them when darkness lingered close. And now he turns to you, not to warn, but to empower you. Because your hands are the key. The words you speak, the atmosphere you maintain, the discernment you sharpen. These are the tools God has placed in you to unlock what's been dormant for too long. It is not an accident you're reading this message right now. It is not luck. It is not chance. Heaven coordinated every second, delayed every distraction, cleared every interference just to make sure this message reached your eyes at the precise moment your soul would be able to receive it. Because Archangel Michael knows this. Once this gift is unlocked, it cannot be reversed, and what begins in your child will ripple through generations, destroying strongholds that once held your family captive and restoring what was stolen before you were even born. This gift is not just for your child. It is for your bloodline. It is for the children who have not yet been born, for the healing of family wounds no one talks about, for the mending of spiritual altars broken by trauma, fear, and generational denial. And if you begin to feel the enemy rise in retaliation through conflict, exhaustion, tension, misunderstanding, know that it is only proof that what heaven has declared is terrifying to hell. Because when your child is fully activated, the enemy loses access to a gate he once used freely. Your child is a gatekeeper, a bridge between the seen and the unseen, a vessel through which heaven will pour words, warnings, healing, direction, and deep compassion into a world that is gasping for spiritual breath. The tears they cry are not ordinary. They are cleansing. The silence they hold is not emptiness. It is deep listening. The wonder in their eyes is not foolishness. It is divine awareness. And when they ask you questions that feel too strange, too deep, too mysterious, do not dismiss them. Lean in, because God often speaks in riddles only the child-hearted can decode. Your job is not to make them normal. Your job is to make them ready. Ready to carry weight that others cannot bear. Ready to hear frequencies others ignore. Ready to speak when no one else has the courage to. And for that, they need a home that honors their sensitivity, not one that shames it. They need protection not just from danger, but from doubt, from mockery, from spiritual pollution. They need to see you praying. They need to hear you speak life. They need you to break every curse ever spoken over them in private, in anger, in fear, or in ignorance. Because words shape worlds, and your words, yes, yours, have the power to call forth what God placed inside them before the foundations of the earth. And now that this message has reached you, you are without excuse. You know, you've been told. The angels have sounded the alarm. The spiritual contract has been placed before you, not one of fear, but of sacred invitation. Will you accept it? Will you begin to move as if you were parenting a prophet? Will you watch their eyes like you would compass? Will you listen to their silence like it's a sermon? Will you guard their gifts like they're gold? Because they're more than gold. They are heaven's harvest, wrapped in your lineage, placed under your care, and assigned to a world that is about to be shaken. And if you unlock them now, if you follow the divine instructions, if you build the spiritual altar in your home again, they will not only step into their gift, they will transform atmospheres, speak with fire, and live in such alignment with the divine that even strangers will stop and say, there's something different about that child. And you will know it's not just different, it's divine. You are not raising a statistic. You are not raising a mistake. You are raising a miracle. And Archangel Michael has sealed this truth in heaven and brought it to you now, not by accident, but by divine appointment. Protect them, anoint them, watch them, and most of all, believe them, because the gift is already awakening.